superheroes. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. For years, writers would keep the same names in the same costumes, but as time passed, we started to see major changes in appearances, origins, and even the identities of the heroes we grew to love. Whether it was due to low sales, creative struggles, or just for the love of the game, writers started experimenting and creating different versions of these characters. Throughout the years, we've had some great additions, as well as some downright horrendous ones as well. And in this video, I'm going to be going over and ranking alternate versions of superheroes based off of their design, their lore, and their impact as a whole, starting with Batman Beyond. First appearing as a continuation of the animated series, this version of Batman takes on a futuristic Gotham City. Bruce suffers a heart attack and then breaks his no-gun rule, causing him to retire. Fast forward 20 years and Neo Gotham is full of crime. Terry McGinnis, a troubled teenager, discovers Bruce's identity and later seeks vengeance for his father's murder. Bruce becomes a mentor to Terry as he learns the ropes as well as understanding the responsibility of the cape and cowl. Right off the bat, no pun intended, this suit is amazing. It's simple yet effective, and I love the addition of the rockets as well as the retractable wings. It also gave us one of the coolest video game armors of all time in Arkham Knight. Lord have mercy, I'm about to... The show was an absolute banger, and it gained a massive cult following over the years. The concept of Bruce being a grumpy old unk that just doesn't have it in him no more, which leads to Gotham falling into more chaos, is such a brilliant idea, and it gives us more understanding of what would happen if mortal superheroes grow old, a concept that we really haven't seen become this popular until this show released. Terry is also one of the more unique members of the Bat family, as he doesn't have the training and preparation as someone like Dick Grayson, but he goes straight into the main role of Batman. It's kind of like a hard work versus talent thing, and that's what makes this version so cool, as Terry's more of a hothead that is extremely gifted and can improvise in any situation. It's kind of sad that we never got to see that Batman Beyond film that was cancelled a few years back. It would have been cool to see, especially with the style that we saw in the concept art. I swear, Warner Bros is just allergic to money and good ideas. But yeah, this one's going in the S tier. Probably the most popular modern rework of a superhero there is. Next, we have Spider-Man 2099. This is essentially the Marvel equivalent of Batman Beyond. It actually came first, and you could see a lot of similar elements between the two. Miguel O'Hara, a scientist working for the mega corporation known as Alchemax, gets into an accident causing his genes to be mutated with spider DNA. He's given different powers from the original Spider-Man, such as claws and fangs that can produce a venom, causing paralysis to anyone he bites. He also ends up getting addicted to drugs, which really isn't his fault, but yeah, Miguel O'Hara is literally just Spider-Man on perks. This dude was an absolute menace in the Spider-Man film. Straight up choke slams Miles into a moving train. Like, he has no regard for Miles' life in this scene. I love his costume. I really like how this version of the suit makes blue the primary color, as well as the mask and the emblem looking like a skull. I also love the way New York looks in this version of Spider-Man. Now, back to Miguel. He doesn't have a super detailed comic run, and most people only know him from the Spider-Verse films. He could also be seen as somewhat of an asshole depending on what storyline he's part of, and he does have a lot of flaws to his character. However, he does go through a lot, and it causes him to be more of a rigid and blunt person with the way he goes about his job. Least depressing Spider-Man story be like. But yeah, I'm gonna give this version a low A. I love the costume, and we get a cool continuation of the Spider-Man character. Next up, we have Wally West. Now, this isn't really an alternate version of the Flash, more like a successor, and to be honest, a lot of the people on this list are just successors of their more famous counterparts, but in this case, we have a character who some say has surpassed the original in terms of popularity. This is all due to the Flash run in the 80s and 90s, as well as the run that we got in the mid-2000s. Originally known as Kid Flash, Wally West was once Barry Allen's sidekick from the 60s all the way up to the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. After Barry sacrifices himself to save the world, Wally takes over and becomes the main Flash. Now, first things first, no matter what era he's in, Wally has some insane fits. Doesn't matter if it's the Kid Flash suit, the crimson suit with the V-shaped belt, or the new silver accents, Wallace Rudolph West is dripping from head to toe. Full government name is crazy, but yeah, he got that shit on. As for his powers, in the beginning of the run, the writers were kind of nerfing him, but then they decided, alright, Barry's dead as fuck right now, so we're just gonna move on from him. But yeah, Wally's definitely stronger and faster than Barry, and he's become a fan favorite over the years with his personality as well as the storytelling from his initial run. I'm gonna give him an S. Next we have the Red Hulk. So this idea actually took years to perfect before they released it. The writers had this groundbreaking idea where they took Hulk and made him red. I don't know how they come up with these revolutionary ideas, but they cooked so hard with this one. Red Hulk appeared in 2008, and he straight up kills like the biggest names in Marvel with ease. It is later revealed that Red Hulk is none other than Thaddeus Ross, aka Hulk's biggest op. Red Hulk can sometimes be seen as an anti-hero depending on the story, and he has some crazy powers such as creating heat waves based on how angry he is. I haven't seen the new Captain America, so I don't know how he is in the film, but to me, this version's whatever. I'm gonna give him a C. We move on to Superman from the Warworld saga. Now, this is kind of a mix of Superman and Conan, and it's a cool alternate storyline that gives off that 80s sci-fi feel to it. Superman takes on a much more gladiator look as he has to fight off against Mongol and his champions in the arena. In this story, he also doesn't have any powers on Warworld, and he fights to free the prisoners of this planet. I really liked his design, and it made for one of the coolest alternate stories in recent memory. I'm gonna give this one an A. Next, we move on to Sam Wilson's Captain America. This motherfucker couldn't hold a candle to the real Cap. Get this Bush League ass C-list superhero the fuck out of the Stars and Stripes. I'm playing. He's not that bad as Cap, but Steve just clears. I just feel like the Falcon character fits him so much better. I feel like he really only takes on the shield whenever Steve is written off, or he's old, or he's dead, allegedly, or when he's injured, you know, etc. I gotta say though, Sam got that shit on, man. Like, he got that shit on for real. The wings and the red, white, and blue, like, come on. That shit just screams freedom right there. What the fuck is a kilometer? I'm gonna give this one a high C. I just like him as Falcon a lot more. Next up, we have Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern. Kyle became the Green Lantern after Hal goes crazy and destroys the Green Lanterns. Kyle, who's the last Green Lantern, has to defeat Hal, who is now known as Parallax. He eventually becomes the most powerful Lantern, as he eventually becomes the White Lantern. This character has gained a massive cult following ever since his debut in the 90s, and he's gone on to be an important part of the big Green Lantern storylines of the mid-2000s. I do feel like he's one of those characters that doesn't get enough attention these days. I mean, there's like 50 million Green Lanterns and they just keep making more, and it's tough when you already have Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, and even Alan Scott on occasion just hogging up the spotlight. I'm gonna give Kyle a high B. I feel like he's very underutilized. We move on to our next hero, which is Beta Ray Bill. He's basically a chopped version of Thor. He's a genetically modified alien whose homeland got destroyed, and then he fights Thor and is seen to be worthy of wielding Mjolnir. He was also the first person to wield Stormbreaker, so that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, Beta Ray Bill would have been such a sick addition to the MCU. I know he was mentioned in Ragnarok, but I feel like he should have been introduced in the 4th Thor film instead of that dog shit ass Love and Thunder film that we got. But yeah, I'm gonna give him a low B. It would be cool to see him face off against Thor before the MCU ends. We move on to Flashpoint Wonder Woman. This version of Diana is an absolute fucking menace. She's basically a warlord that's beefing with Aquaman and Atlantis. And yeah, she commits a whole grocery list of war crimes. Not to mention, she straight up slimes out Aquaman and his wife, as well as killing millions of other innocent people. All because she was getting her back blown out by lame-ass Aquaman out of all people. I really like her armor. I think the helmet is a bit weird, but overall it's unique. As for the character herself, very evil. Very, very evil. I'm gonna give her a B, another cool take on an old character. And finally, I saved the best for last. We get the greatest alternate superhero of all time, Headpool. Yes, you heard it correct. He's a zombified version of Deadpool's head that wears a propeller hat to fly. He has one main attack, which is biting and infecting people. Now, this right here is just cinema. I mean, when you create the most overpowered entity in all of Marvel, it's hard to really put it anywhere below an S. Honestly, like, I think I'm gonna have to create a new tier above S specifically for Headpool. He's just that good. Nah, but in all seriousness, this is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen. I understand Deadpool is supposed to be this funny, edgy series and all that, but it just gets to a point where they start pulling shit out of their ass. And then we have the dorky ass Deadpool fan base that swears anything Deadpool related this perfect and think he's God. Fucking hate Deadpool stans. Top 3 worst comic book fan bases of all time. Fucking geeks, every one of you. I'm just playing. Deadpool's cool, but Headpool's going in the F. Worst head since my ex-girlfriend. There you have it. These are my rankings for some alternate versions of superheroes. Comment down below if you guys want me to make a part 2. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We've just reached 120 subs, so we're growing pretty fast, and I would appreciate any support that I could get from you guys. Check out some of my other videos as well if you're into stuff like this. I've got a few similar videos that might pique your interest, so go check those out as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, goodbye.